So I'm going to go ahead and hit record on this here. All right. Well, welcome everybody. This is the Holt Elementary School choice tour and information, but it's not really a tour because this is our Zoom presentation. And the best one you can go to, though, is our in-person ones, which are going to be next week. And then we have one the following week that's going to be during the school day. So we have an evening one next week. And then we have one that's going to be during the school day. And that's really the best one to kind of get a feel for the school. But you can get a feel for some of the people here tonight, and we'll kind of do a program overview. So first off, just what we'll do the welcome here in a sec, and we'll do our program overview. And Catherine, since you're our only actual parent guest here today, do you have a kindergartner coming in next year?
Yeah, we're still unsure whether we're gonna try to get Buena Vista or Bertha Holt, but yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
we'll go over kindergarten information. I just in case you didn't have a kindergartner, we wouldn't bother going over that part, but we'll kind of share some information about our kindergarten program. And then if you have any questions, and normally if you were in person, we do our guided tour at that point. So just to kind of let you know who we are, I'm Alan Chin. I'm the principal here at Holt. This is my fourth year here at Holt. And before that, I was principal over at Howard Elementary School for 8 years. And before that, I was principal for 5 years at Corridor and Eugene Gakuen Japanese Immersion School. And before that, I was assistant principal over at Cal Young Middle School. So I'm pretty excited to be at Holt and hope to be here for a very long time. So that's kind of who I am. And I'll have Leslie, you can introduce yourself there.
Hi, I'm Leslie Harmon. I'm one of the kindergarten teachers, and I have been at Holt, oh goodness, in very many different capacities, but at least 10 years, we'll say that. And then I went to Washington, which was the school before here, and so did my dad, and now my kids go to Holt. So I'm a neighborhood girl. I really, really like it here.
All right, and Kim, why don't you go next?
Hello, Catherine.
I forgot we have two Kims. Kim McManus.
Oh, yes. Sorry about that. Well, hello, everybody. I'm Kim McManus. I'm the Student Success Coordinator. I've been at Holt about 4 years. Prior to that, I actually worked for City of Eugene, but was in a lot of the schools. So I was here when Washington was a school, and then when it transferred to Holt. And fun fact, Leslie was one of my first after school care persons, which I think is amazing considering I look 29. So yay, Kim.
Okay, and our other PTO president, Kim.
Hi, I'm Kimberly. Just to make things simple, Kimberly. I am the PTO president, and I have a first grader, and we are really starting to pick up a lot of fun activities coming up soon, now that we are out of the pandemic restrictions. So I'm really excited about our upcoming adventures.
All right, and then we have our school counselor, Megan, who I was making fun of earlier. Looks like she's in a hostage situation with her phone there. But Megan, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sorry, my phone doesn't want to take me out of safe driving mode, so I don't even know if you can see me. But my name is Megan, and I'm the counselor there. Another fun fact, I was there when it was still Washington as well. And then I went and worked with Kim McManus for a while, and now I'm back, and I love it. And I absolutely love the counseling program because it's such a team, and I won't get too nerdy about it, but I love Holt so much, and I feel really lucky to be there.
Okay. All right. So to get good moving along. So just to kind of give you a sort of an overview of Holt. So that's our mission statement up on the slide there. But we really want to try to not just focus on the academics. We really do want to value the social and emotional well-being of kids. So it's not just about, reading, writing, and arithmetic. We really want to try to work with the whole child. And, if you've been around Eugene, you probably heard about Bertha Holt, who founded Holt International Holt International Adoption Agency. And so we try to, carry on her legacy of giving back to the community and not just being our own group, our own being. We really want to be part of the community and stay connected. So what makes Holt the best? We asked a bunch of kids, and this is what they said. So they said, we have raffles and assemblies that make school fun. We do that once a month, and we do drawings of those school spirit assemblies. We have great teachers. They make school fun and make sure we feel safe. Another kid said we have events like the Holt Bolt where you get to be active and get outside. That's our annual jogathon, and the PTO organizes that. It's a pretty fun one. A lot of times we get like Sheldon cheerleaders come out, and we've gotten UVO athletes to come out. Last year was really fun, and I can't remember we had some big DJ cart thing. Oh, it was Bigfoot. The Bigfoot beverages came out and blasted a bunch of music. And so it made the jogathon really fun. So that was great. We have a buddy bench outside to help kids make new friends, which if you haven't heard of those are like a bench that says buddy bench. And then so if there's a kid who is feeling lonely or doesn't have anybody to play with, they can sit on that bench. And then we teach the kids that if you see somebody sitting on the bench, that you should go over there and invite them to play with you or join you. And that's something that a lot of the kids like to utilize in order to make a new friend or if they're feeling lonely. Our lunch ladies are fun and make amazing lunches, although the kids really want chocolate milk again, but our student council is actually fighting to bring back chocolate milk. So that could maybe be happening. Who knows? We have a garden. We have a school garden behind the building with raised beds. Our after school program uses that. Our fourth grade, they do a lot with the school garden. We partner with the Eugene School Gardens Project. So that's a fun part of the school. And then we have a really nice big library, which if you come to our in-person tours, that's where we're going to do them at. So you can get a feel for our library there, which is kind of the center and the heart of the building. We have classroom buddies. So the older classrooms are always paired with younger classrooms. So the older kids get to be buddies to the younger kids. And then what's really fun is for the kids who, as they move up in grades, so like the younger buddies eventually get to be the big buddies to the younger kids. So it's just a nice way of community building. So that kids get to see kids outside of their grade level, and younger kids get to learn that the older kids aren't just these big scary kids up at the other end of the building, and the older kids get to be role models. So that's really nice for them. All right, and there's a few other school highlights I want to just mention. We have a full-time school counselor, and we also have on-site therapists that work with a handful of kids one-on-one. So that's really nice. We have a licensed and classified behavior specialists, which to help with kids who need extra behavior support. We also have a Title I program, which serves students who need additional math or reading support. So they do pull out small groups for kids who need that extra boost to catch up. For kids who are advanced, we have the TAG, which stands for talented and gifted. So that's something we come up with. Teachers for students who are identified TAG. Teachers usually during conferences in the fall work with the parents to develop a plan for how they're going to meet kids at their rate and level. So that's available as well. We also have an on-site after-school childcare, which is the YMCA. So it usually fills up pretty fast. So if you do need after-school care, I'd advise trying to sign up over the summer before they get filled up. But that's really nice to have that just on-site here in the building. And we also have, we have a little bit more than full-time PE and music teachers. We have 2 full-time teachers, and then we have 2 part-time teachers just because we're a larger school. So we actually need some extra teaching time. So that's really nice that we're able to offer that. Kids get PE and music twice a week. So they get it 2 times for 30 minutes each, which is very cool. And then we also have free breakfast and lunch for all students. So that's really nice for kids to be able to do that. And some kids, even if they eat breakfast at home, they pick up what they call a grab and go breakfast at breakfast time. And then they just save that for a snack later on in the day between breakfast and lunch, which is kind of nice as well. If you were here, you could see our great library, which is very nice. And then Holt's one of only 3 elementary schools that has a full-time licensed librarian, which is kind of special. The district's piloting that right now. So they're kind of seeing if that's something they want to expand into other schools. So we have that to offer. We also have quite a few community and family volunteers. It's been really nice, post-COVID, that we're able to have volunteers back in the building again, because we for a while there, we weren't allowed to have any. So people were pretty excited to get back in the building again to volunteer. And volunteers do have to be all background checked before they're allowed to volunteer and work in the building. But parents work in the classroom. We'll kind of go over that later, but work in the classrooms, in the library, you can work directly with kids, or you can work kind of behind the scenes, just doing production stuff. So there's lots of different opportunities. Holt's also a certified green school, because with the school garden, we do composting at lunchtime and breakfast time. So that's kind of a feather in our cap. We have one-to-one iPads for all students. All schools in Eugene have that. We're not unique there. But I do feel like Holt teachers are pretty good about incorporating technology in a way that it's not just screen time, and they're using it in a way, I think, that they're using it in a smart way and using it as a tool, not like a separate thing. Like, we're going to do computers now. They're using it as a tool. And also our librarian has been teaching kids a lot about digital citizenship and how to use technology responsibly, which has been nice. And that's kind of my other point there. And so just some of the other enrichment opportunities that we have around the building for kids, and some of these are for older kids, but one day if you come here, your kindergartner would be able to do these in the future. We have Oregon Battle for the Books, which 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade does. It's kind of like a Jeopardy style competition. Kids make teams, and then there's a set of books from the Oregon Librarians Association that they put out each year. And so the kids read all these books, and then there's a competition where kids have to answer questions and battle another team. And whoever gets the most right wins the battle. And then each school comes up with their winning team. And then those teams go to a regional competition between all the schools in Lane County who have an OBOB team. And then the winners from that regional competition get to go to the state competition. So that is pretty fun. We almost made it to state. They did pretty good last year, so that was cool. And we have a student council. So 4th and 5th graders, they get to have some say. I think I mentioned earlier, right now they're fired up about chocolate milk. They want to bring chocolate milk back to school right now. So that's one of their big ones. And then we also have an artist in residence that comes every year. We have two different ones that we get each year. We're going to have fiddler who comes in for 2 weeks and teaches all the kids how to play the fiddle, which is pretty fun. He's a very colorful guy from Louisiana. So we're going to have that coming up pretty soon. And then we have 2 separate artists coming in, because we have one that's coming in for the older kids that's doing mask making. And we have one coming in for the younger kids. Leslie, what's the younger one coming in? It was ceramics, was it?
Ceramics.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. So that's the younger one that's coming in. And then in addition to the YMCA after school, we also have what's called the Best After School program. And that's one that's kind of like an additional booster for kids who maybe need some academic support around math. We try to focus around some math interventions, so kids can come to that. But then also kids who attend Best, besides just math intervention, they also have some enrichment opportunities. They give the kid like art, and they partner with City of Eugene to bring in different artists, and like the school garden and other different activities that they do. They have music that they do. So they have that in addition to math. So it's kind of an enrichment opportunity for kids. And that program is free, but it is invite only, and it's targeted for kids who need an extra booster in math. And the kids get a meal as well at that. And then another fun thing, we have school spirit days once a month where kids get to do crazy hair, or it's sports day, or many other things, animal day, favorite character day. So there's a lot of fun ones that we do. We do that every month. And then every Wednesday, though, is a school spirit day where kids wear their Holt gear, their Holt shirts. So that's pretty fun. And then there's always just different stuff that we do. We have Bertha Holt's birthday coming up next month. So we're going to do our appreciation for our school's namesake. That'll be coming up next month as well, too. But the best thing, though, about Holt is our amazing teachers and staff. And so that's what makes Holt a very cool place to work. And we're pretty lucky to to have, I think, a really nice cohesive staff. We like each other a lot. Okay, Robbie's not here today. He's our school librarian. He was out sick today. But I was going to say he sees kids twice a week. He sees them once for a library lesson, and then he also sees them a second time for library checkout. And kindergartners check out 1 book a week, but older kids, we let them check out 2 books. And so our library is very nicely well stocked. We do a book fair a couple times a year. And it's a very cool place. Kids like going to the library. So but too bad Robbie's not here to toot his own horn. But I was going to give Megan a chance to kind of talk about the school counseling program. And I don't know if you can see the slides or if you just want to talk and I can kind of flip through them.
I'll just talk a little bit.
That works.
Okay, so I have a background in teaching preschool and also kindergarten. So helping incoming kindergartners is actually one of my absolute favorite things, and to help them fall in love with their school, that's something I'm really passionate about, and to make families feel safe about taking their baby to kindergarten. I also, when kids come into Holt, I tell them that I'm a kid helper. So if they ever have any problems with friends, or they're not really sure how to make a friend, they know they can come to me if they're having a bad day, or they're having a rough day, or they're sad. I can come into them and hang out with them. We have this really cool joint space where Kim, our student success coordinator, our family resource officer, our behavior support, and our best coordinator, we all share a giant room. And it's called the calming room, and it is such a great space with different spaces for different needs. So if your kiddo just needs to come in and have a one-on-one time, there's that. There's fidgets, there's break space. But really, a lot of the one-on-one time and making sure your kiddo is comfortable at school is a huge part of my job.
Great. All right. Yep. And yeah. So if you ever need to get a hold of Megan, and actually for all the staff, all of our contact information is on the school website. So you're always just a email or a phone call away. All right. And I was going to let Kimberly talk about our fabulous PTO, our parent group. So got your slide up there.
Excellent. Yes, this is our first full year, as Ellen said, that we've kind of become out of the COVID restrictions. So this is the first full year that we can have volunteers actually within the school to help out with all those amazing programs. And kind of what the PTO does is we help support all of the programs that go on in the school. And that looks like for the teachers, we have a list of volunteers who are willing to come in and help in the workroom if there's any big projects that come through that the teachers need help with putting together. We have a bunch of volunteers in the school right now with some of our book program, our book nook, where we try and get more books into kids' hands. They can trade in a quarter, an old book, or there's lots of different ways they can go and get new books. But our big focus is getting books into kids' hands. Bob, we are recruiting all of our volunteers right now to support the battles that will be going on within the school. And then our fundraiser, our main fundraiser, we really only have one, is the Holt Bolt, the Jogathon. And it's been a growing experience over the last couple of years. We switched from it being in the fall because the last couple of years it's been smoked out due to the forest fires. So we're transitioning it back to the spring. And that's what our biggest fundraiser that we do, that then in turn supports the staff. A lot of the funding goes to the school enrichment, teacher support, help them in the classroom. Some of the funds help go towards field trips, towards like the artists in residence, the assemblies. We here on the slide, you can see at the top, we helped pay for a magician to come to one of the assemblies. And our other fundraisers are kind of smaller. We do Holt Night Out at least once a month, where we partner with like restaurants and we get a percentage of what is spent that night during meals. And then our other big part is community events. So in the fall, we did a bingo bash, a costume bingo bash, and a trunk or treat. We're just now preparing for our spring carnival that's going to be held in April. We were looking into maybe doing another bingo night, but space wise, it gets so big that we need really both the gym and cafeteria, which we can't use both right now because we got bumped out by Kids Spirit, or not Kids Spirit, Kids Sports. And then we really ultimately just are a group of parents that are just trying to really support the school and any big items that they need help with. And as Alan said, all the volunteers, especially for what we need help with during school hours, do have to have that approved background check. And it's tough sometimes. And I know, we sometimes get called, sometimes volunteers to help with some field trips if there's not enough chaperones. There's a wide variety that, we get the request of like, hey, can you guys help with this? So we just love working with the school and being a part of it. And this is our first year out of COVID and making some transitions to have a good year.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Catherine. And I might be talking to PTO soon about helping fund anti-bullying BMX assembly that I'm talking with a couple other principals about. So, because if we partner, we get a cheaper price on it. So
excellent.
I may be getting back to you if we can make that happen. So
okay.
More to come on that. All right. So just a couple things I was going to share about kindergarten, and then I'm going to let Leslie, our kindergarten teacher, sort of share about the program a little bit. We have 4 kindergarten classes most every year, and every classroom has a full-time kindergarten assistant in it. So we're well staffed, and we try to keep the class is small. So like all of our classes this year, they're in the upper, I think they're 18 or 19 each. So we have a good small size for each group. And we do a lot of the instruction in small groups. We try not to do we do some whole group, but we try to get it down into small groups so we can level it out. Because, in kindergarten, you get kids who have never touched a book in their life, and you have kids who are reading Harry Potter. So you get kind of a big spectrum of what kids have been exposed to prior to kindergarten. And we really want to, do a lot of community building, and we love having parent volunteers, especially for like helping with those small groups. So I'm going to let Leslie kind of talk about what kindergarten looks like. So I'll let you go ahead and talk.
Yes, we do love parent volunteers. In fact, that's what I'm working on right now, is getting stuff ready for my parent volunteers tomorrow. So our kindergarten day has all of the things that you would expect in a school day at any other grade, but we do it in a just a little bit different way. We have all of the reading and the math, but we try and do as much hands-on as we can. And we try and chunk it into time periods that they can really dig in and focus, but doesn't push so long that they kind of miss out on that opportunity to move and get their wiggles out. We all do some type of calm body time after our lunch recess to kind of give them a reset for that long day, especially at the beginning of the year, which really seems to help the kids get ready for their afternoon.
Next one there for you.
We do the district curriculum of foundations, which we're in our 2nd year, and it's amazing. I absolutely love it. And wit and wisdom, which has been really fun to be in year 2, because we actually get to say, oh yeah, I remember that, and dig in. So next year, your kid will be ready. We are here. We're doing this. And we, in math, we do, like I said, a lot of hands-on, lots of games, lots of explaining your thinking during number talks. And a lot of it feels more like play to the kids than it does really digging in. But we have seen some amazing math growth in the last few years. So we're really excited in what we are currently doing. These are our 3 science kits that we do. Each grade level has different ones. And the trees and weather is fun because the kids really get to see how things change throughout the year. And my kids have really enjoyed everything that goes with that. And who couldn't love doing things with water and wood and paper, and then playing with a ball and figuring out how to make it go faster or slower on a ramp. And I've yet to meet a kid that wasn't at least intrigued by the idea, even if they didn't want to touch it, by the animals and bugs unit. We are in the process of getting new social studies. I don't know if we're getting a whole curriculum, Alan, or if we're just
Haven't
getting
heard yet.
kind of some things to build in, because our reading curriculum actually has a lot of that in it. And so they're, I think, still working on it, but this is what we used to use, and we still cover all the same topics that the standards require through either these programs or the new things they are giving us, which seem to be pretty good so far.
Yeah.
Of course, it's kindergarten, so we spend, 80 to 90% of our day in social emotional learning. We use the second steps building wide, and we often in the early grades also kind of slip in the we have skills, which is really great videos with visuals on how to respond to things. As a school, we use Stop, Walk, Talk, and that helps kids with all their problem solving on the playground, during choice time in the classroom. Morning meetings are fun. You never know what's coming out of a kindergartner's mouth. It's always entertaining. I love to start my day that way.
They're quite unfiltered. Okay. Oh, and this is back to me. All right. Oh, before we go to this one, I'm going to stop my share. Leslie, do you want to give like a little tour of what kinder classroom so they can kind of see what one looks like? Here, I'm going to pin you so I can make you big.
I should have done this on my iPad, but that's okay. I
Oh,
can make
yeah.
it. All right. So like our library area, what you see on the wall there is part of our foundations phonics work. We have a kitchen and the drawers that hold all of our technology stuff, our calendar, lots of art and work up on the wall, tables. Most of us use grouped seating. You can see my pool noodles for desk drumming. And the big blue paper over there is a kid created poster from our reading program, my messy desk, and there somewhere down there are all of the iPads from our one-to-one iPads.
Awesome. Thank you, Leslie. All right. I'm unpinning you now, and I'll share my slideshow again. All right. All right. And so just kind of how parents can be involved if you'd like to be involved. We have, it used to be called PAWS, Parents at Holt School, but now that our parent group's officially its own 501c3, we're switching it to a PTO. I just need to update that slide. And then we can help out with reading stations or math stations. You can always help out with when we have special activities or events. So like the Holt Bolt, the Jogathon, or those, Oregon Battle of the Books, or whatever's happening in the classroom at your child's grade level. There's field trips that every grade level takes at various times during the year. So that's another place parents can help. If you would rather not work with other people's children, you could always help with prep work, just running copies, cutting things out, making packets, getting things ready like that. So those are options. The library always needs volunteers. we're hoping to start smart readers again. We're just trying to track down a coordinator for us. And then that's where we have community members. A lot of times it's retired teachers coming in and reading with students. And so if we get that program back up and running again, we can do that. That's one that's been a kind of a victim of COVID, unfortunately, because a lot of the retired teachers now are a little leery about coming back and worried about catching something. So that volunteer base has dwindled, but we're hoping to start that again. Just a few things I wanted to mention about you can see a picture of our library there, but just some building features. We have classroom neighborhoods. So there's 4 wings to the building. So each wing generally has its own each grade level has its own wing. So kinders are all in the same wing. We have second grade all in the same wing. 4th grade and 5th grade are all in the same wing. 3rd grade and 1st grade are split between a couple wings because we don't have 6 wings, but most grade levels have their own wing, which is kind of nice. And there's like a big open space in each of them. So kids can break out and do small group activities and things like that. Or if there's like if a guest presenter wants to present to a whole grade level, they can do that in that common area, which is really nice. I've kind of mentioned our nice library space and the school gardens. We also have another courtyard where the school garden is. So that's another outdoor learning space for kids. And we have another big grassy area behind the building as well, too. That's actually right behind the calming room. Another nice thing is, there's a lot of nice windows at Holt. So there's nice use of natural light just in the building design. We lost power, I think it was a couple of years ago, but we were able to function because, we had so much glass and natural lights. That was nice. And just in terms of building security, I know that's something that's on a lot of parents' minds. So we keep all the doors locked at all times. So the only way to get into the building is to flash a badge. So you got to be a staff member in order to get in. There's no other way into the building. Even the main office doors are kept locked. So office staff has to let people in as they come in, and anybody who wants to come into the building has to sign in through the office on our security system. And so you have to flash your driver's license, and then that actually runs a very quick background check to see if anybody's on any databases who shouldn't be in a school. So that's a really nice security feature in the building too. So we try to be pretty tight with security around the building and know who is in our building at all times. All right, so that was kind of our big show there. So I didn't know, Catherine, if you had any questions for us, if you wanted to put those in the chat or if you want to ask us.
Well, I don't know. I mean, yeah, my child is very strong-willed, and so I'm a little more worried about the emotional social aspect of kindergarten as opposed to maybe more of the academics of it. So it seems like, I don't know, according to what Leslie said, it sounds like you seem to have a pretty solid balance, and with a counselor and a calming room, it sounds like you have tools accessible to help anything that comes up in that regard.
Yeah, I think we have some pretty good systems in place to support kids who need that extra support. And, and there's always that spectrum of kids. So, it's sort of a brag, but I'd say I feel like we've seen everything. So it's sort of like, we're not going to be surprised by anything.
Yeah, in that regard, it's kind of nice that it sounds like you all have at least been in teaching for a while in that regard. Yeah.
For sure. But yeah, so yeah, if you don't have it, do you have any other questions for us or anything you were wondering?
I was also hoping to attend an in-person one. I'm not quite sure if it'll work with our schedule, but is that one actually going to be like a tour, like walking tour of the building, or?
Yeah, so next week I'm going to do an evening tour. That's going to be at 6 o'clock on Wednesday in the evening. So if you come then, you can actually see the physical building. But the one I always tell people you should come to is the one during the day, because that's when you'll see kids in the building and staff interacting with kids. And that's the one I feel like you'll get a better feel for the building. That one's going to be in, let's see, 2 weeks from this Thursday at 9 o'clock. So if you can schedule around it, that's the best one to go to. But we're also doing the one next week.
Can we bring our kids to the tours, or is it really just
Yes.
for adults? Okay.
The tour is geared towards adults, so your kid's probably going to be bored, but they're welcome to come, and there's always kids who come along, so that's totally fine.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Hey, Leslie, I was just gonna say, you might mention about how like the first couple weeks of the kindergarten works and how they like get sorted into the classes.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea.
Yes, so we haven't been given exactly what this year is going to look like because last year was the first year they tried a new way, and by they I mean the whole district. So it's not going to matter which school you choose at that point. But they called it Kinder Smart Start, and so what we did was kids came for the Kinder Transition Day, which is great because at our school, all of the big kid teachers come and help the kinders. So they really have a lot of support on the first day, getting through the lunch line, figuring out how to sit down and open a lunch box. The 400 times they go to the bathroom during the day at the beginning of the school year, they have someone to make sure they make it back to the classroom. And then after that, what was different this year is the kids didn't go every day. So for instance, my daughter's a kinder and she was here Wednesday, Thursday, not Friday, Monday, not Tuesday, everyone Wednesday. And then we had 2 days where we conferenced with families, which that is actually a portion that comes from ODE, and how that's going to happen this year, we're still finding out. But it's kind of nice. It gives us time to not officially place kids until the end of the first 2 weeks, or I guess it's like a week and a half, so that we make sure that, you don't have a classroom all full of strong-willed, ready to take on the world, and then a classroom that just never talks. It also helps us level for academics, but no concern. Please don't worry about it. My daughter is definitely one of the strong-willed in her classroom, and we're making it.
She makes her her presence is felt.
So it sounds like for the first 2 weeks, then it's not a guarantee of 5 days in school. We need some sort of babysitting alternative that we need to personally come up with. Is that correct?
People shared feelings last year, and they have not let us know whether they're continuing that option or not. If I was a parent, I would have a backup plan that I could fall into at this point. Yes.
Yeah, there was a lot of families who that was a hardship for that week. Having the inconsistent schedule was pretty hard. So we're hoping they kind of change that. So they'll definitely, and I think that'll be communicated before the end of this school year. So families will should have adequate time to kind of plan ahead of time. So it's not going to be a last minute thing.
Is that something that the YMCA might take a partnership with you guys about, or is that not a feasible?
They can't do it on site with us, but I think last year if parents could transport, the YMCA was able to provide supervision at, I think, like the big YMCA site. So there might be some childcare options out there, but I think once the district actually knows it, they'll communicate that out in the spring, and then families can kind of plan, and I think most likely they'll share out what are kind of the community options out there as well too.
Okay, so from the school side, you appreciate these 2 weeks of slow interaction to kind of place the kids in the correct classroom with the correct teacher. And there were some parent feelings about those 2 weeks as well, is my takeaway.
Yep. And there was some teacher feelings about it too. We kind of had some feedback that we kind of wanted different from the teacher end as well too. You can share on that, Leslie.
Yeah, and prior to this, we haven't finalized placement in those first 2 weeks for a number of years. Then what was new was that alternating schedule, and I haven't gotten to see any of the surveys, but I know a few people talked about what it was like to not have consistency. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, because in the past we did have everybody come every day, but it was just they weren't placed in a classroom yet. We still just kind of rotated the teachers around. The teachers got to see all the kids, and we didn't finalize it right away. But all the kids were here every day. So
I think my one last question would be if you had to do a breakdown on a daily basis of like play versus learning curriculum, what would you say that would be for kindergartners in specific?
I would say at the beginning of the year, it's quite heavy and more play-based. At this point in the year, we're kind of picking it up, but we still do at least some play and interaction for a chunk of every single day. So, and then by the end of the year, it doesn't change a whole lot because they start to get in the spring and they're done too.
yeah, and when you do your activities, it's in pretty small chunks. I'd say like 15 minutes is probably the max you stick with any one activity.
Okay, thank you for answering my questions.
Yeah, sure thing. All right. Well, thank you for coming tonight. And if you have burning questions you think of later, feel free to just email me, all or any of us. Our emails are all on the school website there. And you can also check out our social media on Facebook, Instagram, and I put a threads on there too that we started. So you can check us out there. But thank you for coming, and hopefully we'll see you at one of the in-person tours.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. Well, thank you guys for coming. I'm going to go eat my dinner now. That's how I'm ending the Zoom that we're recording and putting on the school district website here. All right. Take care, everybody.